Thank you very much, and welcome, everybody. It's very exciting for us before we head into the July 4 holiday to talk about a very special event on July 7. It'll be the Unified Heavyweight Championship. Vladimir Klitschko defending those titles against the top-rated contender, Tony Thompson of Washington, D.C. It's been quite some time that we've had an American even hold a heavyweight title belt, much less fight for one. And Tony is going to try and reverse a trend that has been going the European way for quite some time. And as most of you remember, this is a rematch of a fight they had about 4 years ago that was very exciting for as long as it went. Unbeknownst to a lot of people, Tony had an injury going into the fight and fought very valiantly in his first world title fight, and has since worked his way back up into the mandatory challenger position again. Joining us in the first half of the call will be Tony Thompson from Switzerland, along with his camp, world-famous trainer Barry Hunter, as well as we also have Tom Loeffler, the managing director of K2 Promotions, which works with the Klitschkos, and we also have Jerry Vines, who is Tony's manager. But to start the call off, it's my pleasure to introduce to you the CCO of Epix, as well as the executive producer of Epix Sports, Travis Pompisello, to tell us a little bit about what we'll be seeing on the broadcast coming up. Travis?
Thanks, Fred, and thanks, Tony and Vladimir, for coming on the call with us, and everybody else who's listening. To that end, I want to say that right out of the gate is this is the first time we are, and I think maybe anybody has, opened a dedicated fan line for fans to listen in to the champ and the challenger to chat on this media call. They won't be asking questions, but they get the ability to listen and hear and root for their guy and hear what they have to say. I'm excited to have another heavyweight championship fight on Epix. We've certainly become heavyweight central over the past 14, 15 months. This is the second time we have Vladimir on the air. Just a mere few months ago, we had Vladimir defend his title against Jean-Claude Mormec, and it's exciting for us that we have a heavyweight champion that fights every few months and is able to bring an exciting fight to our U.S. audience. As Epix, as keeping up its multi-platform, positioning and place of what we're trying to do. We're going to be available on all Epix-enabled platforms again, like we were for Brach-Butte in May, along with Xbox, which was a first for us and a first for Xbox last month, and we're excited to do that again. As well as Fred mentioned on the Jumbotron out in Times Square, once again, it's become one of our hallmarks, which is exciting, and we certainly look forward to seeing American Tony Thompson fight a few days after the 4th of July in Times Square. I'm sure all the tourists who come here for the 4th of July fireworks and weekend will be excited to see that fight. And look forward to a great broadcast and, giving our fans another great fight and look forward to see what happens.
Thanks, Travis. Before we get to Tony, and also a reminder, Vladimir will be joining us in the second half of the call when he gets back from the gym. We have Tom Loeffler on the line, and Tom, who's been working on the venue, understand the outdoor arena is one of the largest, maybe the second largest soccer arena in Switzerland. Tom, can you tell us a little bit about how tickets are going and what the atmosphere will be like for the fight?
Yeah, Fred, we're really excited about this fight going back to Switzerland. The press conference, so we had that inside the stadium, and Tony saw the stadium there for the first time. It's a great arena. It'll hold just over 30,000 people in the soccer stadium. It's an outdoor venue, and the way the production will work, the Klitschko fights are just huge events over there in Europe, and we're really happy that we have Epix as our television partner in the United States, so that the fans in the U.S. can see the fight live. And as Travis mentioned on the Jumbotron, that's really been a trademark of the Klitschko fights being shown there in Times Square, and that's great. And this is actually the 6th stadium fight in a row that Vladimir has had, and nobody sells more tickets here in Europe than the Klitschkos, and they're really big events. So we're happy that the American fans will also be able to see this fight. And Tony is the mandatory challenger right now for the IBF title, and he gave Vladimir a great fight in 2008, and we know he's definitely motivated to for this rematch. So I think it'll be a terrific fight coming up on July 7th.
Thanks, Tom. And again, just a reminder, that broadcast will be seen live on Epix and streamed live on epixhd.com at 5 o'clock p.m. East Coast time, and that's 2 o'clock West Coast time in the afternoon. So now, without any further ado, let's talk to the mandatory challenger, the number one contender, Tony Thompson. Tony, how is camp going, and what are your expectations in this rematch?
Well, camp was great, and obviously our expectations would be, to reverse the outcome of the last match we had in 08. I think we prepared well. My body's doing better. It's coming around at the right time, and it's going to be interesting to see, what we look like against Vladimir Helsinki. So.
Well, we look forward to it too. Operator, let's give instructions for the media to ask questions, and we'll open it up.
The floor is now open for questions. At this time, if you have a question or comment, please press *1 on your touch-tone phone. If at any point your question is answered, you may remove yourself from the queue by pressing the # key. Again, we do ask that while you pose your question, that you pick up your handset to provide optimal sound quality. Today's call is being recorded. Thank you. Our first question is coming from Gary Pierfield with the Boxing Tribune.
Hi, Tony. How are you?
I'm fine. How you doing, buddy?
Good. Well, the first thing I just wanted to ask, I guess, kind of the obvious question, but what is different about this time around? Why would fans or anyone believe that this fight's going to end any differently than the first one did?
Well, I don't know why the fans will, but I know why me and my team, everybody in my team, we know I had an injury. It's hard enough to fight great champion like Vladimir with 2 legs, but I really was on 1 leg. I had a torn meniscus in my knee. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to train to our full capabilities, prepare for the heavyweight championship of the world. I think this time we are able to prepare, and, with a healthy body, we actually have a legitimate shot. I know everybody else don't think we have a legitimate shot, but we know it, and that's all that matters to me.
And then what do you think you bring to the table that one thing is your height. You're one of the few people that are going to be able to look eye to eye to Vladimir and have a similar height and reach. But in addition to that, what makes you believe that you can do what no one's been able to do in a very long time and overcome his abilities?
Well, first of all, my willingness to fight is ass. A lot of people, they sit back and they just accept the inevitable. That's not what we are coming over to do. This is going to be a fight, man. I can guarantee you. I can't, you want to say you want to guarantee victory and all that, and yes, I'm going to really win. But the one thing I can guarantee is that I'm going to fight. I'm going to come forward. I'm going to press the fight, and I'm going to try to take the lead in every round. So I'm not going to sit back, and let him jab and right-hand me to death. He's going to have to do something that he did. He did very well in 08. He changed strategies. He did a lot of different things well, and he was able to overcome. But, again, I'm going to be the one to press the fight. I'm going to be the one throwing a lot of punches. I'm going to be the one landing most of the punches. So, my willingness to fight, I think, is the biggest reason in this.
Thanks for your time, Tony. I wish you good luck. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Your next question comes from the line of Dan Raphael with ESPN.
Hello, Tony. How are you?
Good old Dan. What's up, Dan?
Everything is good. My question for you, Tony, is I think it was Fred that mentioned it in some of the introductory remarks that, if you win the fight, you become the first American heavyweight champion in quite a long time since Shannon Briggs had the title of, one of the belts anyway for a little bit briefly. How much is that in your mind? Does it matter to you? How proud would you be if you could be the one to accomplish that? Can you talk just about that aspect? And I think it's like Fred also mentioned, basically on July 4th weekend.
Well, obviously it's going to be big for me, for my family, for the United States. I'm hoping. I realize I don't have the support of a lot of the United States fans. They haven't been given somebody they can get behind. Wholeheartedly for a long time. And I'm hoping this is going to be after this fight. They will. They're going to see that I'm going to be a guy. I might don't have, the greatest talent of the fighters out there. I don't have the greatest Holyfield body. Matter of fact, I got the early 1990s Larry Holmes body going. So, I got the radio face, not that pretty, on the face. So, so I understand their unwillingness, not to come to this side right now. But, when they see my honest effort, what they will see is a guy gonna give an honest effort up in there, man. Every time I come in there to win, every time. You know, make no mistake of that, and to see and for the United States to see a guy like that willing to go into the heat of the battle and actually fight this guy who's been a great champion so long, I think that's going to convince a lot of them to come on this side, especially after they see the great victory I'm going to pull off. So,
Tony, with this fight, you had your opportunity in '08. You're getting a second opportunity, which is, especially against the same fighter, which does not happen all the time when the first fight ends the way the first one does. And you're also, a 40-year-old guy now. Is there a little bit of a sense of desperation for you with the idea that there's a very good chance that if you don't get it this time, this is probably your last shot?
It's not a little bit of sense, it's the sense, Obviously, like you said, to me, my age, it's not really playing a big part. Yes, I'm dealing with, a guy being 40 years old, you deal with some type of issue. But as far as boxing, I feel good, man. Once I get healthy, totally healthy, which I think I am close to, my body feels good. I haven't been in a lot of wars. Obviously, everybody knows I started fighting at 27, so I haven't been, beat up on. Obviously, I still can hold a good conversation, so my head's still intact. So. But it is desperation because I realize, not a lot of TV channels want to put me on their channel, for whatever reason. Doesn't matter why. It's just the reality of the situation. So, and only way I could change that is to win. Obviously, I've beaten the guys that be talents. I've beaten those guys, and it's up to me to prove that I belong on the A talent level, and that's what this fight is about. I want to know and be on that level myself. I don't want to continue to be known as the best American heavyweight or a good B challenger or anything like that. I want to take the next step to the championship level.
All right, I just have one other question for you, Tony. I know that going into this fight, there's a bit of an issue between your camp and the promoter Dan Goosen. I'm wondering, is it at all a problem in your mind or your team's mind that while this fight is happening, he's suing you?
Dan can do what he want, man. Dan do what he want. I don't even think about stuff like that. Dan's supposed to be a buddy of mine or whatever. They tell you what they want you to hear as soon as they don't get their way. They want to, bring strife to your life in the terms of suing you or anything like that. But I'm not going to let that get in the way of what I have to accomplish. I have a job to accomplish. I let the lawyers work out the lawyer stuff. I work out the boxing stuff.
Okay. Thank you, Tony. I wish you the best of luck.
Oh, thanks, man. Don't say nothing bad about me on TV or in front of my family.
Thanks a lot,
I'll beat
Tony.
you up when I see you.
Please don't.
Your next question comes from the line of Keith Idek with THR Record.
Steve?
Keith, your line is open.
Yes, Tony, I was just wondering if you could kind of detail, what was wrong with what the specific injury was going into the first Klitschko fight and, when it started to hamper you and kind of how it hindered your training and all that and specifically how it hindered you in the fight as well.
Well, I had a torn meniscus in my right knee. So, it hampered me in terms of, I couldn't do all the road work and all the extra work you have to do to prepare for a guy, like a Vladimir Klitschko. I've always told people, if you cannot master their conditioning, you have no shot. And that just proved to be the truth. I mean, obviously going in the fight, I was so hyped up about fighting for the heavyweight championship where I just ignored the knee pain. I tried to do my best in terms of training. I sparred hard. My team know I sparred hard. But when it came down to it, my leg got tired early in the fight. I wasn't able to push off. And anybody that saw the punch stats knew I outlanded Vladimir. I kept going up and punches landed. I was the only guy that consecutively in 3 different rounds, went higher and higher in terms of the punches that I land on him. And that was never been done in his career. But the problem it happened to me was I didn't have the power to drive through those punches. I didn't have the 2 legs to stand on to actually sit down on those punches and deliver them with heavyweight type force. Now, you put me in better conditioning, with more strength on my legs and still being able to touch them as often as I did. And I like to see, how the results could be different. Nobody's been able to convince me, yes, I'm a light hitting heavyweight, but I'm still 240 plus pounds. And I don't care if you got a guy hitting you 240 plus pounds multi times in any round. Anything can happen. And I'm anxious to see me with 2 legs up under me, the difference.
Tony, how did you hurt your leg initially? How did you suffer the knee injury? Do you remember?
Couldn't tell you. All I know, I was working out and I realized I couldn't run too well. I wasn't stable in my leg. I could not tell you.
Thank you, Tony.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome.
Your next question comes from the line of Lynn Satterfield with RingTV.com.
Hey, Tony, how you doing?
I'm great. What's up, brother?
How you doing, Barry?
Hey, Lynn, how you doing? I'm fine. Thanks.
I'm blessed. Obviously, both of you were a part, Barry, as a trainer, and Tony, you were always around during the build-up, the press conferences, and the success of your neighbor, Lamont Peterson, when he won the title over Amir Khan. Tony, for you, when you were going through that and experiencing that, and Barry, knowing what that was like, how much, Tony, is that a motivator to potentially be a part of such a, heroic kind of uplifting experience for the D.C. area, and how big would that be for you as a heavyweight to accomplish that again?
It was a huge motivator. Anthony and Lamont Peterson, I love them. They like younger brothers to me. Our careers kind of mirrored each other in the sense that we both had our first title shot, and we lost, and we knew the pain of that defeat, and it was something that we vowed wouldn't happen again. And to see, him to go in there and pull off that, put forth that type of effort to make good on his promise that it wouldn't happen again, it was outstanding, man. The Headbanger family is just what it is. We like a family, so we all pulling for each other. And, I was one of the most, probably the happiest person, outside of his family that could be for him, and definitely motivated me, because now I want to be the second Headbanger champion. I want to bring another championship, a heavyweight championship to the Headbanger. So, it's definitely a motivating factor for me. Obviously, it'd be big. The first American heavyweight champion in years, plenty of years, too many years. It's time for me to break that streak.
Obviously, Barry, this is a different fighter, different situation. You're going overseas. But having been in that underdog situation and accomplished it, does that, number one, does that give you more motivation, more confidence? And also, how much of that do you bring into this situation and as a parallel to, with Tony?
Well, you know me, Lynn. Anytime I step in that ring, and anytime I bring any of my guys to that square circle, I'm very, very confident in what they can do, because I know the preparation that goes into, us getting ready for fights. Definitely, I think this is a different Tony Thompson, than the last one 4 years ago, or about 4 years ago. Like you said, he's feeling better, as far as his body's concerned, healthier. And, he faced this man before. So therefore, what he sees in the ring come on July the 7th is nothing different than he saw 4 years ago. So, we're definitely looking forward to the challenge for the title. I know how we felt after the last fight, and that was a long plane ride home, and neither one of us want to experience that again. So I'm looking forward to it. I know Tony is, and definitely, hopefully, at the end of that night, we bring that world title back to the United States.
Guys, thanks a lot. Good luck next week.
Thank you.
Thank you, buddy.
Once again, if you would like to ask a question, please press star, then the number 1 on your telephone keypad. Your next question comes from the line of Charles Sutton with Washington Informer.
Hey, Tony, how you doing?
I'm good. How's it going on your end?
It's going great. It's going great. We had a good chat on Monday at Headbangs. I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me. One of the things that struck me most when I first saw you is that you certainly appeared to have trimmed down nicely and to be fight ready, and I was wondering what you did to prepare yourself in terms of your overall strength and conditioning for this particular fight.
Well, I got a great strength conditioning coach, Tony Brady, and he just took me through a lot of things to try to strengthen up my legs, my base, my core, a lot of things, man. It's not long enough show to give you specifics on everything, but just to say that he know what my weaknesses was. We worked on those weaknesses extensively, and we accentuated what I couldn't do and made sure that I could do by the end of the camp. And it all came together perfectly, man. Tony did a great job of making sure I had a basis to up under me to be able to accomplish the things that Barry wanted me to do when I got to the boxing gym. So on one hand, I had Tony setting my base. On the other hand, I had Barry pushing the pace to make sure the base was still good. So it was a total team up, and it was great.
Okay, well, I noticed this particular fight, as opposed to 4 years ago, you went to Europe significantly earlier, giving yourself more time on site, if you will. I wonder, what's the advantage of showing up there earlier as opposed to following the same schedule you did 4 years ago?
Well, the advantage is you got to get over that jet lag. Jet lag is a real thing, which is why, the Klitschkos bring you over 6 days before. They know what they're doing. They're very smart and astute people. You can't blame them for that. It's up to you and your team to combat that intelligence with your own intelligence. And my team, we learn from experience. We know that wasn't enough time. We know jet lag is still on, so we came over a little bit early to get over the initial parts of the jet lag. And then, the last week, we started rebuilding the body back up now that we're used to it. So, that's the reason for obviously coming over a little earlier. Smart move.
Okay, and one final question. As we all know, it's been several years since we had an American heavyweight champion. Why is that it's been so long, and why have Europeans dominated for several years as far as the heavyweight division?
Well, I don't think we got enough time for me to go rant about this. I rant about this a lot, man. I think, first of all, boxing is such a sport where if you're not one of those guys at the top or one of those guys that's known by the TV or whatever the case may be, you're not going to make very much money to be able to support yourself. And that's just the truth of the matter. It's not like the old days. You had top guys fighting top guys. A lot of the top guys, and I'm talking the American guys, a lot of the top guys, they sit back and they take soft fights and they wait for their shot at the title. And by the time they get to the title, they realize they are vastly underprepared for fighting a guy like a Vladimir Klitschko, because those guys are fighting the best all the time. And when you sit back and you have fights against the top Americans not materialize, and they should, like me against the Areola, me against the Eddie Chambers, a whole bunch of guys, man, I could have been fighting to prove myself worthy as a challenger, but those guys wouldn't take the fight for whatever reason. Not necessarily those guys, might be those guys' handlers, those guys' promoters, those guys' advisors, whatever the case may be. They bringing the fighters up the wrong way. They're taking the soft touch, and then they realize it's too late when they get to the top.
Well, I certainly thank you for your time, Tony, and I wish you the best on July 7th.
Thanks, man.
Guys, I know you got to head off to the gym to work out, so Barry and Tony, if we could get some last words from you, and then we'll send you off to the gym and bring Vladimir in. Barry?
All right, y'all have a good one.
Yeah, well, I'd like to, again, say thanks to the Klitschkos for this opportunity to be able to go back to have a chance to win the world title. I'd like to thank the fans for their support, K2 as a whole, and we're definitely looking for a great fight. And, we do our job right, and Tony does his job. That night, we're going to shock the world and bring those titles back to the United States. That's my mission.
Thank you, Barry. Tony, we'll leave the last word to you before you head off to the gym.
Well, I want to say thank you to Epics. Not a lot of TV channels are willing to put me on. I want to love the girl that loves me. So if you love me, Epics, guess what? I love you. You give my family back home a chance to see me again fight for the heavyweight championship of the world, and I appreciate that. You're doing a great job, and I just want to say keep up the good work, because you're putting on good heavyweight fights, and that's what the division needs. The heavyweight division is not dead. It just needs somebody with the foresight like the Epics to know what fights to put on and continue to put them on, and give the people the chance to say we don't want to see them. A lot of networks are making those decisions for the fans, but Epics is just putting on good heavyweight fights, and I want to thank Epics for that.
Well, thank you very much. We wish you all the luck in the world, and we wish you a happy 4th of July, and we will see you a week from Saturday, live on the Jumbotron in Times Square or on Epics or epicshd.com. Thank you.
Well, And last, before I get off the phone, I am definitely looking forward to, being the opposite corner of the legendary Emmanuel Stewart. I love him. He's a great man, and he's always there to give me a kind word. So, it'd be an honor to face him one more time.
Terrific. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, if everyone will just hold on for a minute. We've got Vladimir calling in just a minute.
Fred, he's actually ready. We're up here at the training camp here in Austria. Yeah, so I just wanted to bring him on. So it's got the IBF, WBA, WBO, IBO, and the Ring Magazine Heavyweight Championship titles. So he'll be defending all of them against Tony Thompson on July 7th. He's been up here for a little over a month in the training camp, and he's ready to go on. So here's a few comments from Vladimir. Hold on just a second.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome, Vladimir. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you very much.
Well, before we open it up to questions, I'll ask the first one. How's training camp, and what do you think you'll see that's new from Tony Thompson in this rematch?
Thank you. The camp is rolling along well. Just got actually off workout or after workout and got on this conference call. Thank you for making it happen, and I think that the coming up fight with Tony Thompson is going to be very challenging and very exciting, and I just want to motivate everyone and all the boxing fans to watch this fight, because it's going to be definitely not an easy job for me, and I'm expecting from Tony Thompson to be as aggressive as possible, because that's his last chance for sure to fight for a championship, and I think Tony Thompson knows me pretty well. I think he knows me better than anyone else. Not as good as my brother, but he knows what to do, and he has been around for a long time. He's been here at training camp in Austria, and he was a sparring partner for Vitali's fight against Juan Carlos Gomez. He was my sparring partner in the fight that was a long time ago, 2003, in my fight with Corey Sanders. I fought Tony Thompson, so I think Tony knows me pretty good, and I believe that he's super motivated because that's his last chance. And it's always a tough job to get the title, but it's even tougher to defend the title, or titles in this case. But I'm loving it. I mean, the job that I'm doing, and I actually looking forward to this challenge. And to be honest with you, I'm really looking forward to the challenge, because that's the man that's coming up to me. I don't need to run behind and chase someone in the ring as it was in some previous fights. So the man is gonna come up to me, which is great. So I definitely looking forward to this opportunity to fight Tony Thompson again. One more thing that I want to say: I didn't choose Tony Thompson to fight. I'm forced to fight Tony Thompson because he's, for all the respect that I want to give him, he has been fighting his way back to the top to become number one mandatory in position number one at IBF, and so I have to defend my IBF title and fight him.
Very good. Operator, if we can give instructions for the media to ask questions one more time, please.
Thank you.
At this time, if you have a question or comment, please press *1 on your touch-tone phone. If at any point your question is answered, you may remove yourself from the queue by pressing the # key. Again, we do ask that while you pose your question that you pick up your handset to provide optimal sound quality. Your first question comes from the line of Dan Raphael with ESPN.
Hello, Vladimir.
Hello.
Vladimir, when Tony came on and spoke to us just before you got on the call, one of the things he talked about was that in the first fight he claimed that he had a torn meniscus in his knee. It hampered his training, and then, of course, hampered him as well in the fight. I'm wondering, did you notice anything about his knee when you fought him the first time? Do you think it's an excuse, or what do you make of that? And now he says he's healthy and it will be a different fight.
So I will suggest to Tony Thompson to fill out the application and to tell in advance what kind of injuries he has this time, So we know in advance, what is going on. Because in the first fight, he said to me tete-a-tete, even, without press. He said, Vladimir, I'm going to beat you. I know what to do with you. I'm going to win this fight. And he was very self-confident. I mean, he was super confident, and there has been nothing spoken about any knee injury. And I don't want to mention the kind of injuries I had, but however, whatever was there, I think in any way he was very tough, and he was giving me a good fight. I don't want to take credit for that, but as I said, my suggestion, just fill out the application, just say what kind of injuries he's having right now, so we're aware of that.
Did you notice anything about the knee during the course of your almost 11 full rounds with him in the ring in the first fight?
I don't know. To be honest with you, yeah, I mean, I have a PhD title in sports science, but not in medicine, so I can't really say what was going on and what kind of injuries he's had. I have to say, he was actually one of the rounds. He went down and he grabbed his knee, and he was limping, and I'm glad that Cortez, the referee, let Tony recover, walk around, and continue to fight.
What
so
kind
that's
of
the only
punching?
thing that I remember from that fight. So, and regarding the knee injury he had, as he said.
Oh, that's one other question for you, Vladimir. Not that he landed a whole lot of punches against you in that fight, but what kind of punching power did you feel from him, if anything of consequence? Does he have
I felt headbutting pretty good. I don't know about the other punches, but headbutting was good. He's diving and he's moving forward, and eventually you can see it in slow motion in this fight. So, and also on the faces, his face and my face, so we both got caught. That's actually the most thing that I remember of punching power. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, Vladimir. Appreciate it. Good luck to you next week.
Thanks, Dan.
Your next question comes from the line of Bob Thelen with USA Today.
Hey, Vladimir, how you doing?
Very good. How are you?
I'm doing fine, thanks. You said you did not pick Tony to fight. Would you have considered him if you had your choice?
I would consider. I mean, I'm going to be pretty honest and open here. I will rather take some fighters that I haven't fought. So I can pick someone like fresh blood, like something new, but I have no choice, so I have to defend my titles, and I think that to fight Tony Thompson is definitely not an easy job. So it's not going to be vacation fight for me. So it's going to be challenging and tough, and I on one hand, on the other hand, as I said, if you ask me, would have choose Tony Thompson, fight someone else, I probably would have go for some new names and the fighters that I haven't fought. But whatever we have it here, and I have to say something good about Tony Thompson, that he has been focusing on this fight, on this rematch, for a long time, because I've been watching all the fights and his comments after the fight, and he was always mentioning the name of Klitschko, and he's going to get eventually the rematch, and that something shows that man is determined to make it happen. And now the time passed by fast, 4 years. Now he's going to be in the ring next week Saturday.
Does it having fought you once already give him a little more of an advantage, do you think?
You know what? Whatever I think, whatever Tony Thompson thinks, I mean, there could be tons of speculations. Let us fight, and then we'll see who has been improved and who is not. I think that's the easiest way to find out, because otherwise it's going to be a lot of blah blah, as usually is, but at the end of the day, less action. So, and I think, let us fight, and then after the fight we can exactly say, and everyone else can see, has been there improvement in any of us or not? Who got better, who got worse?
Manny said he expects Tony to be aggressive. What type of fight do you expect from him?
That's actually what I'm expecting. Tony to go forward and just, as he was saying, like throw 80 to 100 punches around and break me down and to make me tired and not be standing in the line, and actually jab competition he was mentioning. He was mentioning to come to Europe 2.5 weeks before to get ready get ready for the fight and have no issues with the jet lag. And so there's been a lot of things that has been said from Tony Thompson's side, and also that what Manny said, and I think Manny is totally 100% right about it. Tony Thompson, I mean, that's the only chance he jab competition, whatever competition he wants to take, I will definitely take it. I have no other choice. But I'm expecting it to be super aggressive.
Thank you, Vladimir. Good luck.
Thank you.
Your next question comes from the line of Robert Morales with Los Angeles Daily.
Hey, Vladimir, how are you, man?
Very good. How is LA?
Good. Hey, it's good. It's really nice over here. Vladimir, you've had a great career, and I know it's not over. I know you've got a ways to go, but I see
you said I had.
You have. You have had a great career.
I'm having. Okay.
Yeah, no, you're still. That's why I say it's not over. You're still having it. But I think since you have had such a great career so far, I think it's time for people to start wondering where you rank among all-time great heavyweights. How would you rank yourself?
That's not my business. I'm enjoying myself to be in the sport, and you guys, I mean, as an insider, I'm standing in the ring and I'm facing the challenge. And as I said before, it's a tough job to get on the top, but it's even tougher to stay on the top and go through different fighters, different styles, different attitudes, different coaches, different promotions, and everything else. But I'm not putting myself. I mean, it's going to be wrong if I will say I don't care about legacy. I mean, they should be something about legacy, but I'm not really thinking of it and not putting myself in a line with other boxers and names. That's not my job. That's your job, guys. So you can. One of your colleagues I spoke recently, and he was telling me the numbers of title defenses and what was in the history. And to be honest with you, I care about the history, but I don't care about right now myself how many title defense I've done and how many rounds and everything like that. So I'm actually enjoying the time and enjoying the challenge, and I love the job and the profession that I do, and everything else, that's not my business for now.
Now, okay, and now Tom, are you there?
Tom is actually here, but I have earphones. He can't hear me.
Okay,
do you have a question for him? I will hang over to him. Do you have a question for him?
Yeah, if he can, that would be great.
Okay, yeah, sure. Hold on a second. Hold on.
Hello.
Tom, this is Robert Morales. I asked Vladimir where he thinks he ranks among, because he's already had such a great career, where we should be ranking him among all-time great heavyweights. Maybe I can ask you that, but maybe a little differently. I mean, do you think that he belongs in the same class as those great heavyweights, from the 70s that people always talk about, the Ali's, the Frazier's, the Foremans, all those, that crop? Do you think Vladimir belongs in that company?
Well, it's hard to judge Vladimir. I mean, right now, the thing that I was really impressed with is the way his training camp went for the last fight with Warmick, and it was the best that I've seen him in his training camp as far as just being explosive and his speed and his power. And now the training camp for this fight, it's the same thing. I just see him get better. I mean, he's 36 years old right now, but I don't really think that you'll see his peak yet. And so it's really hard to judge compared. Obviously, the greats with Ali. It's really hard to compare any current fighters against someone like that who's considered the greatest of all time. But certainly, I would put Vladimir in the top 5 of heavyweights just with what he's accomplished and all the is how he's looked in knocking opponents out and just dominating opponents. And I think you'll see his legacy. He doesn't like to talk about it, but I think if you see, a bigger name challenge, or somebody that's perceived as a very dangerous fight, and if Vladimir looks impressive against other opponents, then he'll cement his place in history.
All right, thanks, Tom. Very good. I appreciate that, man.
Okay, thanks, Robert.
Mm-hmm.
Your next question comes from the line of Lynn Satterfield with RingTV.com.
Hey, Vladimir, how are you?
I am good. How are you, my man?
I'm blessed. How you doing over there, Manny? Is Manny on the line?
No, Manny is here. No, Manny is not on the line, but Manny is doing fantastic. He's enjoying the time to be in Austrian Alps, and with beautiful weather and clean air, and things are good actually at the camp. So why I'm in the mountains? Because in the mountains you can stay better focused.
Okay. Now, Vladimir, during different interviews, Manny has suggested that of your opponents, Tony Thompson poses potentially the most difficult style. He said at one point that you used 4 different strategies until you found the correct method, I guess, to chop him down because of his size and because he's a southpaw. Do you recall that? And if so, can you shed some light on what he might be talking about?
Definitely. Before the first fight, we always have a strategy before every fight. And with Tony Thompson, it was kind of difficult to find it out because he was not getting hit in all of the fights. And that means man has great anticipation for punches coming. And it was a tough job for me to land punches during the first fight. Because Tony was covering, he has long arms, and I mean, maybe it sounds in a funny way, but it's like I compared him to a spider, big body, small head, and long arms, which is perfect for a boxer, and which makes super complicated to fight against a guy like that. And he's not fast, but he anticipates. He anticipates when to punch, and he anticipates when the punches are coming. And actually, in boxing, people say speed kills. And what kills speed? Anticipation. So that's exactly what Tony has, and he's using it in a very sophisticated way. And I definitely have not fought anyone that is kind of in a certain way unpredictable as Tony Thompson. So that was difficult really at the beginning of the fight, to match up because I was overspeeding. I was too fast, and I was missing a lot of shots. Which were going on the left, on the right, and above his head, and so I have to definitely change the thing and change my speed and get adjusted to Tony's style. So my timing was definitely off in the beginning of the fight, of the first fight. So when I had to change the things, that's what Emmanuel was talking about.
Do you think that given the fact that he says that he had that injury and that he says he's going to fight you, that will make it a little bit easier, or perhaps even easier all the way?
I'm not expecting an easy fight. If you're saying about easy, it's
easier to hit. Make it easier to hit, and
it's easier to hit. I mean, if we're talking about technically, in boxing, it's much easier to hit a guy that's moving forward to you. Instead of you have to chase a guy, and that the person is very, very cautious and moving fast and trying to get not hit, it's a very tough job to land good punches. But if the person is coming to you, it's much easier to count a punch or to land any punches, for sure.
I know you're really looking forward to the prospect of someone who's talking in the game and saying they're going to do something, actually doing that, as opposed to a David Haye type of performance where he talked a big game and didn't bring it.
that's why I said, let us fight, and then we'll see who is better, who's not. And I don't know why. And I don't know if it's coming from Tony Thompson or from whom else, because this thing with his knee in the first fight is all around, and I've been asked tons of times, about Tony Thompson's knee, and same thing. I will give you a little bit of comparison with David Haye. David Haye is supposed to tell me in advance, my toe is hurt. So, so I know, like, okay, if you lose the fight, okay, I got it. Your toe is hurting you. So the first fight in Tony is saying about his knee all the time. I don't know. I haven't heard it from him, but obviously people are asking me, and he's older than me, and I have respect to older people, and I will just maybe give a little suggestion, from my point of view to Tony Thompson. Just don't say anything about it. I mean, you lost the fight, just take it like it is. Whatever was in the fight, knee, back, neck, whatever. So it is what it is, because he does not making a favor to himself talking about his knee, and now he's saying, he's healthy, but I'm just saying in advance, if you mentioning something was in the past, and you are so bold enough, to challenge me and say things that you're going to beat me and become whatever champion, and so then just say in advance, okay, I have those injuries, so that you're aware, something's gone wrong, so I have a good, exit. That's my suggestion to Tony Thompson, if that's the case. But one more time, I haven't heard it from him. And if he did really say it about his knee, and which I hear from different people all around, and in the questions, even you asking the same question, so we'll just suggest, just zip the mouth about it and not talking about it. It's in the past. Who is interested in that? What was in the past? You got knocked out, that's it. Just give some respect to champion, and give me a good challenge. And listen, it's sport, and it's a classic sport. And eventually you're going to face the man that is also, has his own vision of doing things. And in boxing, it's always getting tough. You break your hands, you tear your muscles, tendencies, whatever it was, or could happen in a fight, which I had experienced in my life multiple times. But nobody is interested in that. Everyone is interested on the result, and that's an end of the result. What was in between and why was that? Nobody's interested, so people are not looking after it. So that's why just my suggestion to Tony Thompson, if he did say it, and to other boxers, just, suck it up, bite your tongue, your lips, and just move forward. And if the performance was bad, then just, get another chance, give respect to the other man, to the champion. There should be a certain reason why the champion is for many years out there, and not accidentally. Things are happening in life, and try to give a good fight, and that's it.
Last question for you, Vladimir. I mean, you just raised an interesting question. I'm not asking for the injuries you may have suffered, but how many times have you had to fight with injury, and about how many times, and what does it take to do that?
I will not say anything to you. I think I said enough that I have multiple times during my sporting career and all my fights, but nobody's interested. It's just I can talk to my doctor, but not to anyone else. So that's very confidential, and that's why I keep it for myself. But I know what I'm talking about through the experience in boxing that I've spent 22 years and over 16 years now in professional sport. So I've been going through different experiences. That's just I want to say. The rest I can only talk to my doctor.
Thanks a lot, Vladimir. Good luck next week.
Thanks.
Vladimir, I know you've had a long day. You just came back from the gym. I'm sure you'd like to rest and maybe have a little something to eat. Before we end the call, I'd like to throw it over to Travis from Epics for a few comments, and then we'll get the final comments from Vladimir. Travis?
Thanks, Fred. Well, I said it earlier. Anytime, a heavyweight champion fights, it's an event, and Vladimir Klitschko, definitely super excited to have you back with us on Epics. Your fights have really become the main event for us over the past year. You and Vitaly, of course. I want to thank all the fans who listened in on our fan line today for listening. Look forward to hearing from you how you enjoyed that. And we'll see everybody on Saturday night at 5 o'clock on our air and online and all our platforms and out in Times Square.
Vladimir, at the start of the hour, you get the last comment.
Thank you very much. I want to say thank you very much to Apex to broadcasting our fights in the United States. It's a great opportunity for us, and you guys are doing such a great job because we do have a lot of fans in the States. And if we're talking about the fans, I have to mention it to you. I'm going to attend in a ring with tons of fans that are supporting me in this fight, and they are from the United States and all over the world. We had what I think on our Facebook site, we have over 600,000 hardcore fans on the Klitschko Facebook site, and in like 5 days or 7 days, we had an auction to be part of the supporting that was for free. You didn't need to pay the money. It was a special application that you clicked on, and your name is landing on my trunks and on my rope. So I'm going to fight on July 7 in Bern with over 10,000 fans that in these 5 or 7 days had applied this application, and that their name is going to be printed on my trunks and my rope. And eventually, after the fight, we're going to auction this trunk and rope for projects for children in need in the case of sport and education. And I'm very excited about it because that's something that that is also, aside from boxing and, all these conversations, what the challenger or the champion going to do, in the fight. And we're going to do, and also Tony Thompson, because he's part of it. I mean, he's involved, obviously, in the fight. Without him, it's going to be impossible. But to have the fans jumping on my trunks and rope. And I'll say thank you very much to everyone that was participated in this auction. And we're going to raise a lot of money for the kids in need. That's it.
Vladimir, thank you. That is a great idea. It's a terrific promotion, and we wish you all the luck in the world, not only in the fight, but in raising so much money for this worthy charity. Thank you very much. And on behalf of Epics, thank you for participating in the call today. Just a reminder, Saturday, July 7th at 5 p.m. East Coast time, 2 o'clock West Coast time. That'll be live on Epics. Stream live on epicshd.com with a free 2-week trial to offer, as well as live on the Jumbotron in Times Square on Broadway between 44th and 45th Streets. Thank you very much. We look forward to seeing you in the ring next week. Bye.
Good luck and all the best. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you. This does conclude today's teleconference. Please disconnect your lines at this time and have a wonderful day.